What's up out there to all of my fellow gold diggers? This is your girl Rita, also known as the self-proclaimed gold digger. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. I am so glad to have you. And if you are a fellow gold digger, welcome back. Y'all know I love and I appreciate each and every one of you. All right, guys. So this is Tipsy Tuesday. Let me just check and make sure we are good on all of my different platforms really quick. And then we are going to get started. I hope everyone is having a great week so far. All right, good there. Let me check one other spot and make sure we are good. Y'all, today we are going to be talking about how to save money as well as about lifestyle creep. All right, we are good there. All righty. So, all right, we are good. So, if this is your first, y'all, hold on. Let me see if I can adjust my camera because it looks like I don't want y'all to think I don't have no clothes on. All right, so so if this is your first time to Tipsy Tuesday, pretty much what we do is we take some sips, and tonight I am just sipping on water. Your girl is, I'm trying to be healthy, y'all. I'm trying to be healthy, trying to get right for the summer. So we just take some sips as I share some tips with you guys, okay? And like I mentioned, tonight's tips are going to be talking about how you can save money and avoid lifestyle creep and everything, because it is a real thing. Now, before we get started, I realized that I need to do the Tipsy Tuesday song, and last week I did not do it. I guess I was too excited and everything to do it. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Once I finish the song, that is your official welcome and your official introduction to Tipsy Tuesday. All right, here we go. Tipsy Tuesday. Tipsy Tuesday. Tipsy Tuesday. Get your tips and pass the dues. Say tipsy Tuesday. All right, let's see. What's up, Still Rocks? I see he says we are in here. I see you are still working late. Good to see you though. And let's see what else does Still Rock says. He says lifestyle creep is, or yes, it is. It is a real thing. We almost got a car about a year ago. I'm so glad we didn't. My wife was mad for quite a while, but it turned out to be for the best. Yes, we are going to be getting into that tonight. And then also Still Rocks. He says he is sipping on some water. See? So, okay, so I'm not alone and trying to be healthy, y'all. He says, I'm still on the clock. Yeah, definitely sip some water since you're still on the clock. Haven't done anything for a few hours though. That's good. At least it's an easy shift. It has gotten the best. We gotta get a beat for the Tipsy Tuesday. I thought you were supposed to be working on it, Still Rocks. Is that what you were supposed to be doing? Or maybe I was supposed to be working on it. I don't know. Last week I forgot to do the song. But let's talk about lifestyle creep. I have my notes on my phone, so let me pull these up. And if you are not familiar with what lifestyle creep is, basically what it is where as your income increases, you decide to increase, or sometimes you don't decide, but your expenses also increase as well. Oftentimes it's very gradual, like you don't even realize it's happening or that you're even doing it, but because you are earning more or making more, you start spending more money. So for instance, let's say you were making $50,000 and you were able to live pretty comfortably off of $50,000. Now you got a new position or a raise or something like that. Now you're making $75,000. And because you're making $75,000, your expenses start creeping up to that $75,000 range, even though before you were living comfortably on that $50,000, but because you had that raise or you got that increase in money, you start spending more money just because you are making more money. So that's what we're going to be talking about. How you can avoid lifestyle creep and save some money. I know for me personally, I am ready to be outside. I mean, I feel like I haven't done a whole lot, with everything going on, with we couldn't travel a whole lot and things of that nature. This year, this summer, I want to be all the way outside. I want to be doing stuff. I want to be traveling. I want to be, just enjoying some things. And yeah, because things have been kind of like on hiatus for a while, or at least for me, it feels like it. So I definitely want to be outside, but I want to be outside responsibly and not be too reckless and everything. And oftentimes when I come to y'all with these topics, I'm coming to you because I do want to help you, but I'm also going through some of this stuff myself. So it's almost like a pep talk for me, or as much as I'm talking to you, I'm also talking to myself like, girl, chill out, slow down. This is what we need to do. These are the things or the steps that you need to take to make sure X, Y, and Z does not happen. So, it's not to get on anybody, but I'm talking as much to myself as I am talking to you. And before I get into some of the things about lifestyle creep, I also want to mention that lifestyle creep, it can affect us or myself as an African American or as a Black person a little bit more than some other people culturally. And I know some of that has to do with the fact that, given our history in America, we were not always deemed as being of value, or somebody put their own value on us, like especially when during slavery times, Jim Crow times, that kind of thing. There was a certain value placed on us, or a devaluing that was associated with Black lives, which is why we say Black Lives Matter and stuff like that. So I get it from the perspective of when you are making more money, or when you are in a better position, you do want to buy certain things, do certain things, achieve certain things, or I should say obtain certain things, because we did grow up in, or we do have that history of society kind of like devaluing us and looking at us as less than or not worthy and that kind of thing. So it's a lot of emotions and stuff for we as Black people to unpack and to get through, and to know or to understand and realize, why are we doing some of the things that we are doing? Is it because we're trying to prove something to society, to prove like, hey, we made it, we're worth it, we're supposed to be here? Or is it really genuinely because of something that this is something that you wanted and that you wanted to obtain? And yeah, I know there's emotional issues or emotional things that we have to work through as people, or at least I know for myself as people, because I'll speak really quickly. I know I've shared with you guys that I'm an optometrist, I'm a doctor, and if y'all met me in real life, and some of y'all do know me in real life, I'm pretty basic and regular. I'm like just very average. I do not care about designer things. I don't care about name brand stuff. That does not necessarily interest me. Like, I like nice stuff or whatever, but I really don't care about like the name or anything like that. As long as I look nice in it, as long as it's nice or whatever, I really don't care. And I know after I had graduated, people would tell me like, oh, you need to do this, or you need to do that, or you need to drive this car, or you need to have, be wearing this kind of stuff, or living in certain places. And I'm like, that's not even me. So I get it. So I understand from the perspective of someone who is an African American or a Black person, but also from the perspective of someone who is in a certain position in society that society gives more weight to or whatever. But I don't view myself like that or whatever. I don't feel like my position is any greater or better than anybody else's position or anything like that. And that's why I'm like I'm pretty average, y'all. I'm pretty regular. I don't need a whole lot of stuff to make me happy. That is not the things that bring me joy. Okay. All right. So let's see. I see Still Rocks has a comment, so I'm going to get into that. And then we're going to go into these things about ways you can avoid lifestyle creep. And these are things I'm telling myself, y'all, because your girl has been spending recklessly. It's not so much lifestyle creep, but I I got to do something better with my expenses. Still Rock says a lot of people get new cars, new houses as soon as they get a raise, and now they are in the same boat. Check the check. Yes, is not the move. Build that emergency fund first. Yes, so true, Still Rocks. We are going to be talking about that. Yeah. Now, I will say this. Sometimes if you are already, like in the example I used, I was like, if you're making $50,000 and you are living paycheck to paycheck, then making $75,000, hopefully you shouldn't be living paycheck to paycheck again. Like, so you don't want your expenses to creep up. But let's say if you were making $50,000 and it was barely covering your expenses or whatever, then that's a little bit different. It's not necessarily lifestyle creep. Like maybe you do need to be spending more because you was just barely getting by. But if you're spending more money just to be spending more money and you were not living paycheck to paycheck on the $50,000 and now you're letting your expenses creep up because you made $75,000, and these are just examples, y'all, then yeah, that is definitely the definition of lifestyle creep. Okay. And then Still Rocks also says sometimes we put so much value in things, the things don't define us. Yes, and that is how I feel. Things do not define me at all. Hopefully you, if you are a genuine friend of mine, you want to be my friend because of me, my personality, how I treat you, that kind of stuff. Not so much the stuff that I have or the stuff that I can attain or the people that I can put you in connection with because of my influence or whatever. You should genuinely want to be with me because of me or whatever. And that is what I look for in other individuals. And that is why oftentimes I do not like telling people what I do for a living because I don't want you to try and associate with me because of my position or my title. I really don't like that. That is the fastest way for me not to like you. If I find out that you just want to hang out with me or you take more interest in me as a friend or whatever, just because you found out about my position, like that is the quickest way to turn me off. And I'm like, yeah, I don't rock with people like you, because I genuinely like to be with people who share similar interests as me and who bring me joy and make me happy, that kind of thing. I can have a good time with, and not so much, oh, I want to hang out with you because you have this particular position or whatever, or you're making this kind of money. No, I don't want to be around you for that reason. All right, but anyway, I have talked enough. Let me take a sip, y'all. Okay, so I'm only sipping on water. I mentioned that before, but y'all, I'm also going to be indulging. I got a sweet tooth tonight, so I'm also going to be indulging in some chocolate. So I'm going to eat a chocolate really, really quickly. Y'all, these are like, these little Doves are like one of my favorite candies to have. I have several favorite candies, but I love Dove, and then my little York peppermint patties. Don't judge me. I know this is like old people candy, the York peppermint patties, but I love it. I love dark chocolate. So it's the dark chocolate for me, but I love the Doves just because they have like a little special message. So let me read the message. Let me see if this is what message they have. So this one says, reset, restart, refocus as many times as you want to. So that is really appropriate. But that is why I love eating. I love it because it's dark chocolate, but I also love the message in it because it makes me feel good about eating the doggone chocolate. And that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'll probably be eating a little bit of chocolate too tonight. All right. So, sorry, y'all, because I don't usually eat on camera. The first thing that you want to do to avoid lifestyle creep, and we kind of touched upon this, is ask yourself why you want the thing. What makes you want this particular thing? Like this particular car, this particular outfit, this particular bag, shoe, whatever. I'm speaking for women because I don't know. I guess for guys, sneakers, I don't know. I don't know what y'all into. Whatever. Why do you want the thing? Like, do you genuinely want it? Or do you want it just because you want to be able to impress people or stun on people or flex on people or whatever? So you can be like, oh yeah, they got the new so-and-so and so-and-so or whatever. Is that why you want it? Or do you genuinely want it? Or do you want it because someone said you should have it, which is what I talked about. Like people would tell me like, you need to do this and you need to do that just because I, I'm a doctor now. Like, no, I don't. I don't want that. That's what you want for me, but that's not what I want for myself. So I don't necessarily need to have that. So ask yourself, why do I want this thing? And also, why all of a sudden do you need it? If all along you ain't have it and you was doing fine. Like why now do you need it? When you never had it before. And also be mindful of who you are allowing to influence you and influence your decisions. So sometimes you got to check your circle and make sure you're not around people who are just kind of like superficial and they put value in the things that they obtain. Like I said, I don't like people like that either. People who put value in the things that they obtain and then who talk about other people for not having certain things. I don't like that. That has never sat well with me, and I don't enjoy being around those kinds of people at all. So ask yourself, do you genuinely want it? And if it's something that you genuinely want, whether it is designer or something like that, or something that is expensive, then that's because that is something you genuinely and truly desire. But going back to what I talked about before in regards to Black people, really unpack that, or try to unpack that, and make sure you're not being influenced by the trauma that we as Black people went through back in the day by not having certain things, by having to live in certain areas that might not have been the nicest, by getting secondhand stuff or not getting the best resources afforded to us. Make sure it's not rooted in something like that where you're trying to impress or show people, hey, as a Black person or whatever, I've made it, or I've obtained certain things, or I've achieved certain things. Okay. All right. So the next thing I say, if you want to avoid lifestyle creep, and hold on, I see Still Rocks comment real quick. You are crazy. He's talking about we got a chocolate mukbang tonight. Yes, y'all be shopping. Every time y'all pick up the phone, y'all about to shop. Wow. That is so true, which is why I'm having this conversation. I mean, I can't even get on social media and there's an ad targeting me about something that I want. And I'm like, let me just get off this app. But anyway, all right. So the next thing you can do to avoid lifestyle creep, which will ultimately allow you to save some money, is keep your expenses the same as they were before and act like there was no increase, so you are not tempted to spend. So in regards to that, like, don't try and buy a new house or something like that, or upgrade your car. Now, if you need a new car, like your car is like on its last legs or something like that, and you need a new car, then that is different, okay? But you also want to make sure you want to calculate, like, make sure the payment isn't going to be so exorbitant that it's going to cause you to live paycheck to paycheck. Also, like in regards to clothes and things like that, just keep your expenses the same and act like there is no increase to your income. Now, I know that's easier said than done, because when you have extra money kind of like lying around, which is what has happened to me, then it's really easy for you to see something that you want and you can be like, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and spend it, because you're like, I know I got the money to be able to buy it. So I know it's easier said than done. But one of the ways I do help to combat that is, and I've shared this with you guys before. So when I get paid from my main job, and y'all know I have the side hustles, which is what makes it a little bit trickier or easier for me to spend money. But definitely from my main job, no matter if I get an increase or I give myself an increase or I give myself a bonus or something like that, I always have a certain amount allocated to my main checking account, which is where I, pay my bills and stuff too. So that is always going to be allocated a certain amount. Anything over that amount, it does not go into that account. It ends up going into a separate account for savings and that I use for investments. So I know what I need to live off of or whatever, or I know what my expenses are. And so that is what's allocated into my main account. And then anything extra that I have, It goes into a totally separate account that I don't really see. Like I don't really check it on a regular basis or anything like that, so that I do not see the increase at all. And that is one of the ways that helps me to act like I didn't get any extra money. The side hustles, that's a whole different account that I have been using as play money. And I say play money because it allows me to play and do stuff that I really want to do. And that's what I really need to reel in and be more disciplined about. Okay. And that brings me to the next point, which I kind of already talked about, is when you do get an increase. So say you do get an increase in your job or in your salary or something like that. Try to use that increase for savings and investments instead of for spending it. Okay. Allocate it. Say, hey, I'm going to start using this as, I got a 10K a year increase or whatever. I don't know what that comes out to per month or per paycheck or whatever. Let's just say 12K. So we got a 12K increase because that's easy for me to say. That's an extra $1,000 a month that you got. Just say this extra $1,000, I'm going to use it for investments or savings or something like that. So you'll already have it allocated for a certain reason. Okay. I'm taking a sip and let's see. Yame, I want to say you've been on here before because I want to say I recognize your name. She says being materialistic is overrated. Yes, it is. And she also says it doesn't define wealth either. No, it surely doesn't at all. All right. But thank you, Yame. All right. So we talked about increasing your savings or your investments. Automate your savings. Y'all know I will get on y'all about that. Just automate it so it's just automatic. The other thing you can do is increase your debt payment. So if you know you're getting this extra $1,000 a month because you got a 12K a year increase to your salary, just know, hey, now I got an extra $1,000 to pay off my debt, and that's what I'm going to use it for. Which essentially, if you're using it to pay off your debt, you're slowly but surely helping to build your wealth. So these are some ways you can avoid the lifestyle creep and still hopefully have the lifestyle that you want. Because eventually, as you pay off your debt and stuff like that, you'll be able to afford more stuff that you really, really want. The other thing I recommend is to know your expenses as well as your income. So here's the thing. Oftentimes we know what we're getting paid. Like we know what we're bringing in each month. Like say, I'm bringing in, I don't know, 2K a month or something like that. You know that. Oftentimes we don't always know our expenses. So even though I'm bringing in 2K a month, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you will find that you are spending 2K a month. You may find that you're spending 2K a month, but in actuality, your expenses, like your actual necessities for you to be able to live and stuff like that, might only be $1,500 a month. And it's like, what am I doing with this other $500 where I'm living paycheck to paycheck? So we know what we're bringing in oftentimes, but we don't always focus on what are our actual expenses. And sometimes once we get down to, what that really is, we'll realize that we have actually more money than we thought we had or whatever, because we're not spending it frivolously or spending it on things that we really didn't need or want or whatever, because we were just living paycheck to paycheck. Okay. So know your expenses as well as your income. And also keep in mind, this is also something I'm talking to myself. Okay. Talking to myself as well as talking to you. Remember those hidden expenses or expenses that you might not always consider. Because I will say my subscriptions have increased, like little subscriptions to like music and stuff like that. Those little things that are like less than $10, $15, less than $20 that are coming out of your account every month that you don't really, it's like, it's so small. You don't even really pay attention to it so much. But if you got 3, 4, 5 of those $20 add up really, really quickly. So oftentimes when we write out our expenses, we write out like the big stuff, like our rent, our mortgage, car payment, gas, food. We often forget our eating out budget though. We don't always allocate for like clothing. We more so allocate for the stuff that is reoccurring, the big stuff that's reoccurring, like electric, gas, utilities, water, that kind of thing. We'll think about that, but we don't always think about, oh, we got this little $5 subscription that is coming out, or we don't always consider, hey, I'm spending $10 every day eating out for lunch, and that's like $50 a week. That ends up being $200 a month that you're spending just eating out for lunch. And you could cut that back. Even if you cut it back to like half, you could easily save some money that way. So remember those hidden expenses, because oftentimes we just be calculating the big stuff to make sure we got a place to live and that is warm, but we don't always take into consideration the small stuff that is eating away at our paycheck and eating away at our money and everything too. So all right, let me see what the other comments are, and I'm gonna eat another piece of candy. Still Rock says, I stress people to think about spending money on events, trips, etc., instead of rewarding themselves with items. Very good point. I'm big on creating experiences. Like now, well, I'll say now, I'm all about creating experiences. Like I want to experience stuff. I want to be able to create memories and not so much obtain stuff. Because y'all, if I keep buying stuff, I'm gonna be a hoarder. All the stuff I'm gonna have or whatever. I don't need any more stuff. I don't need any more stuff. But I do want to create memories and experiences. And it's going like to what Still Rocks is saying. Spend money on events and trips and things like that. Stuff that is going to create memories. Stuff that is going to create interactions with different people that you'll be able to remember for a lifetime, and that they won't go away. It's not going to wear, like the event will be over, but you'll always have that memory or that experience that you had with that person. An item or something that'll break down, or you might get tired of it, or you might throw it away, or you might lose it, or whatever it is. But you're going to remember those good times that you have with those good people in your life. Okay. All right. Yame says, y'all, this dark chocolate. Sorry. I'm happy to catch another one of your lives. Yes, you drop gems, and so do your followers that comment. Thank you. I have some of the best followers. For real, for real. Y'all are really some of the best, and I do appreciate it. And then Yame also says, I try to add in my grocery bill. I forget about gas. Yes. So all those little things, they add up. Y'all, I'm not the best with the groceries because I haven't been cooking hardly. So my grocery bill has been very sporadic. It's like when I feel like buying groceries. Now they got food in the house. They do have food. I will say that, but I'm not buying groceries on a regular basis like I used to be. And my kids, well, especially my daughter, she has started working now, so she has her own little spending money. So she be going to little places and stuff and getting her food, and she's been buying some of her own groceries and stuff too. So I'm like, okay, whatever, do what you need to do. All right, y'all, only have a few more. Y'all, I really be trying to keep these lives to about 30 minutes, but then I end up talking way too much. All right. Here is the other one that I have. This is like number 6, if anyone has been keeping track. Be intentional about what you're spending money on. I cannot emphasize that enough. Be intentional about what you're spending your money on. And once again, this is one of the things that I need to keep saying that to myself. Like this might have to be one of my morning mantras that I say to myself to make sure that I'm not overspending throughout the day. Be intentional about what you're spending your money on, because like I said, there will be times where I'll just see some stuff and I'm like, okay, I want to get it. Oh, that's cute. Let me go buy it. And I have the money. And it even happened today, y'all. Whatever. But anyway, I'll have the money and I'll go ahead and spend money on it. And I am not intentional with how I'm spending the money. I have to get back to doing my money goals, my savings plans, doing the no spend challenges. No, I don't know if I'm gonna do those, but anyway, but I just need to be more intentional about how I am spending my money or what I'm spending my money on. And that leads me to the next one: create a budget or a spending plan. Like I said, I have not done that in a long time. I was supposed to start doing my cash envelopes again. I started at the beginning of the year. Y'all know how we be at the beginning of the year. We have all these high hopes, high dreams, all this kind of stuff, all these goals. And I did it at the beginning of the year, and I have not done my cash envelopes since then at all. At all. I have it on my agenda to do it this weekend and everything, because I need to get back on track. But y'all, we already in the second quarter of the year. So for the whole first quarter, I did not have a spending plan. I did not have a budget. I didn't have a savings plan. I didn't have anything. I wanted to, but I obviously let the desire for me to spend money outweigh my desire for me to save money or create a budget or a plan for my money. So I have to get back on track with it. I have to get back on track by doing that. And the envelopes were the best way for me to do it. Like, I never really had an actual like budget, so to speak, but I consider the envelopes as like a budget for me. Because like I said, once the money was out of the envelope, once it was gone, it was spent, I knew I could not spend any more money, and that's what helped me to stay more controlled and more structured. So I have to get back to that. And the reason why I'm emphasizing it so much is just because I'm talking to myself and I'm kind of like fighting with myself. Like, this is what you really need to do, girl. Like, seriously, get it together and do what you need to do and stop spending this money. So I'm not yelling at y'all. I'm just yelling at me. Okay. Oh, thank you, Yame. She says you're welcome. And then the other thing is, once you do that, hold yourself accountable. Once again, I am talking to myself. I got to hold myself accountable to this particular plan, which is kind of hard to do sometimes when you know you have the money. Like, it's a little bit different if you're like, hey, this is all the money I got, and I got to, if I spend recklessly, then, my lights might get turned off, or, we might not have any water or something like that. That's different. But with me trying to live beneath my means or under my income or whatever, it can be challenging because you have the money there. But that is also why I need to get back to setting like money goals. I've also gotten away from like my debt-free journey or whatever, because if I'm being honest with y'all, I got burnt out on the debt-free journey and saving money and paying off debt and stuff like that. And also coupled with the fact when we were inside, couldn't really travel, couldn't really do anything or do the things that you normally could do or whatever. So that kind of, I did okay for a little while, but after a while, it got old and tired and everything. And I feel like I'm just at a point right now, or this is a part of my journey where it's like, okay, I went really, really hard paying off some debt and saving up money. And I did that really, really good for a couple of years. And now this probably past year and a half, I've been a little bit more careless and reckless with my money. And now I'm at the point again where it's like, okay, you got to get more disciplined with your money and get back on track to the things that you need to be doing. Okay. Y'all, which leads me to the next thing is set a money goal. So I haven't set any money goals recently. I had paid off my private student loans. That was the last money goal that I had. And once I did that, I was like, any extra money I had, it was like I was just spending like I was supposed to. And my other loans, they were like my federal loans or whatever. And y'all know those were in the forbearance or whatever, the government forbearance. So I will say that's kind of how I got off track. is because once I paid off that private loan, I was like, oh, I got this extra money, and I started using it for whatever I felt like I wanted. And I will say this in the process too. There are some things that I did learn as I was spending money. I do want the experience. I do want to be able to do certain things. Like, I do want to get my nails done. I do want to have like a facial and stuff like that. I do want to take care of myself. I do want to pamper myself. Which is going back to making sure the things that you are spending money on are actually the things that you want to do. So there are certain things that I learned in the process. Like, I do want to do this stuff, but I need to make sure that I find a way to earn the money to pay for it, and not just be taking and still do my savings and my investment and the other stuff that I need to get done. And like, even when it comes to my facials and stuff like that, like, I was getting a facial once a month, but neglecting my face the other 29 days out of the month or whatever. And so I realized that, hey, I want to be consistent with this. And some of the stuff I can do is stuff I can do at home. And I like being able to take care of my face at home on a daily basis, and not just, once a month when I go get a facial or whatever. So there are some experiences that I can create on my own and save money while doing so. And there are some things that I cannot create on my own, but that I do enjoy doing or experiencing, but I just need to make sure I am doing it responsibly and everything. So, all right, let's see really quick. And y'all only have like 2-3 more, and then we'll be wrapping it up. So hopefully this should not, even though we're over 30 minutes, it shouldn't go too much longer. And Yame says, I've seen the envelope method. Yes, I love the envelope method, because like I said, it really did help me stay on track and stay on budget without like really having an actual budget, because I know a lot of people don't like the B word or whatever. But essentially, when it came to me in my envelopes, it's like, okay, my water bill or my light bill, it's like I knew I needed to allocate X amount of money each pay period for the water bill or for the electric bill or for my mortgage, or I would allocate a certain amount of money for my car maintenance or my kids shopping or something like that. And so when it came time for me to do those things, it didn't feel like I was spending money, because I had already built up the money in there. And yeah, and it was just like I was creating a budget without like really creating a budget on paper. It was just all in these envelopes. So I really, really like that method. I know some people don't like having cash and stuff like that. And yeah, it can be kind of time consuming, like getting the cash out of the bank, stuff in the envelopes. And then when it's time to like pay the bill or whatever, then you might have to, for some things, I had to go back and deposit the money into the bank account, draft it from my account, that kind of stuff. That wasn't always the most fun part, but I will say this, it did make me think more about my money and my spending, because of all the extra steps that I needed to take, or the steps that I needed to take to make sure things went smoothly. And right now I'm not thinking about my money at all, other than me spending it on a purchase. So I need to be more focused and thinking about it and more intentional, like I said, about my money. Dee Dee, what's up, Dee Dee? Is it, yeah, Dee Dee? I don't think you've been on here before, so welcome. She said, can someone give me tips on moving into my first apartment? I'm scared of the expenses and costs. Well, Dee Dee, it's been a while since I've been in an apartment, but I would also ask, what part of the country are you in as well? When it comes to living in an apartment, because some places the cost of living is a lot higher. Also, certain apartments, they might have stuff included, like you might have your water included, your cable included, so that helps cut down on some of the expenses and everything. I don't know your situation, since you said you're kind of scared of the expenses, if you might want to get a roommate, if that is your cup of tea. I know I can't really have a roommate. Well, even if I wasn't married, I can't, y'all. I can't have no roommate, but let's just go leave it at that. But I would say definitely something that if you are considering moving into your first apartment, you definitely want to shop around, see what the going rate is in your area for apartments that you would like. And once again, visit those apartments and see, because you know the range of the cost of the apartments could vary widely, and that can also show in the quality of the apartment that you might be getting, as well as the neighborhood and the location of where it might be. So definitely look and see what is the cost of the apartments in your area, given the type of quality that you want to have. Like, what is the going rate? Is it like $1,000? Or is it going to be more like $1,500 for the type of apartment that you are going to feel most comfortable in, or something like that? Once you kind of know that, I would say try to save up about, because they're usually going to ask you for the first month, last month, first month, last month, and what, like a security deposit. So 3 months worth of like rent or whatever. So I would say you want to try and save up at least 6 months worth of the rent. Just because, you know, off the rip, they're already going to be asking, they're going to be asking for that. And if you ever get yourself in a situation where you might be coming up short or something like that, you'll already have 3 months rent already kind of planned out or placed out, so that you're not in a potential position to be, you know, kicked out of your apartment. Also, you saving up for that money, or that the rent money or whatever you would pay for your apartment, will also help you to become disciplined, for you to know, hey, this is what I need to do to make sure I'm making my rent, and making sure I'm allocating enough money, and, you know, having enough money saved up or enough money in my accounts to be able to pay for it. In terms of expenses, other than like utilities, I don't know if you've ever lived on your own or whatever. You might want to ask, ask people, or ask like the property manager, like what is like the average rate for like electricity or something like that, for like a 1 bedroom apartment or a 2 bedroom apartment, that kind of thing. So you can have an idea of what that is, because you also want to factor in those expenses as well, your utilities on top of that. And then also like furnishing the apartment. Now, if it's just you and you living alone or whatever, I mean, you ain't gotta have for me, I already told y'all, I'm pretty regular. Like, I can just have a little basic bed, as long as the mattress is comfortable. I need a good mattress now. As long as the mattress is comfortable, I don't really need no TV, because I don't really watch TV. So it just depends on you. So furnishing the apartment. Also, keep in mind, like, I don't know if you've ever been on your own. So if you've never been on your own, you're gonna need stuff for like the kitchen, like different utensils and stuff if you cook or whatever, pots and pans, those kinds of things. Those are like the little expenses that you don't always think about when it comes to having an apartment. Like furniture, but like I said, you don't have to have a whole lot of furniture. You can easily find like like I said, I haven't done it in a while, but when I was in apartments, you could easily find like used furniture, or even when people were moving out, they couldn't always keep stuff. You find stuff on the curb and it might look good. You definitely need to like clean it out real good, Febreze it, all that kind of stuff. But you might be able to easily find secondhand stuff to furnish your apartment, if that's what you want to do. And yeah, just be mindful of that. So you want to make sure you can definitely save up about 6 months worth of rent. And with that 6 months of rent, you also probably want to include your utilities and other expenses with that as well, just to make sure, hey, I have a little cushion if something was to go wrong. And then with you saving up for that, if you do really want some nice stuff in your apartment, or, you want it to be set up nice, you probably want to save up, at least another $1,000 or so that you can be able to furnish your apartment with a bed and stuff like that. And this is just me assuming that you don't have anything to bring from any current situation into the apartment and everything. So I hope that was helpful, but it's been a while since I have been in an apartment. But I will say this too, Dee. I remember when we bought our house and everything. Yeah, that was like a lifestyle creep or whatever, because I don't know how big our house was before, or the place we were living in before compared to where we're living in now. But the square footage definitely increased. And furnishing something that big it was a lot. It was a lot of it was a lot of furniture. And that's some of the stuff you don't think about. It's like when you upgrade your house and stuff like that, you get a bigger house, you got to furnish those rooms or they just going to be sitting there empty. And same thing when it comes to a car, like the maintenance, them oil changes for a nicer car, it is more costly. It's some, and the tax, not the taxes, what is it? The insurance and stuff. Whew, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. All right, hold on. Let me go. I see I missed a lot. So let me go back real quick. Yes, look, Still Rock says, welcome, D. Put it on paper. She says, Northeast. Northeast where? Oh, you're like Northeast. Oh, girl. You talking about Northeast in a US, like up north, like New York, Jersey, Connecticut, them expensive states? Oh my. Oh my, oh my. Girl, you might want to get a roommate. I don't know. Jesus. I don't know, certain areas, because when I was living in Philly, I was surprised at the cost of our apartment in Philly. And then when I moved back down south, I was like, dang, it was cheaper for me to live in Philly. And I would have thought it would have been the opposite. All right. And Dee says, thank y'all. And yes, and see, y'all may saying similar to what I was saying, budget 3 to 6 months of rent in advance. Thank you, Yame. Still Rock says, we get so into apps, but sometimes writing it down makes it stick. Write down how much you make, your expenses, put emergencies in there. Make sure you aren't biting off more than you can chew. So very, very true. Yeah. And writing, I don't know, for me, I know writing it down, it helps solidify it more. And I don't know if it's because I'm from the generation that did not come up on computers, or, we had to write most of our stuff and then computers came to us later. And Yame says, write down a list of items that you'll need for your apartment. Put the price beside each item. Yes, and that's going back to like furnishing your apartment. And yeah, it's just so many things you don't even think of. Like the pots and pans, like silverware, unless you just want to use paper plates and stuff all the time. But like glasses, all that stuff costs money. That's why I be fussing at my kids when they it seems like they just be throwing away my forks, breaking my dishes and stuff like that. Like this stuff costs money. Like y'all just don't even know. And then Still Rock says, don't know how old you are, but try not to make any rush decisions. So many young adults get so excited about the thought of living on your own that we jump for the first thing that comes up, but take your time. Yes, thank you, Still Rocks. Adulting is not what you think it is at all. At all. It can be hard out here. Yame says, the thing with apartments, you may only have to pay for your own Wi-Fi if it's not included in the rent and electricity and maybe water. Yeah, thank you, Yame. Yeah, I know some of the apartments I stayed in, some of the utilities were included, and then it wasn't a whole lot of utilities that you had to necessarily pay for. So definitely take that into consideration when looking at places. Dee Dee says, I've never been on my own. I will have a roommate and I'm low maintenance. I just don't want to be in the hood and see any roaches. We don't want you in the hood either, girl. I don't need anything luxurious right now. All right. Now, I will say this. With you having a roommate, the roommate is definitely there to help you out and help you with your expenses. But I would highly caution you, make sure you have enough money for if your roommate decides not to pay the rent or they lose their job or, I don't know, stuff just goes left. You could still potentially cover your rent and both of y'all ain't kicked out because y'all ain't making rent or whatever. That's the only thing. Now, I say I don't want a roommate because I don't really, y'all, Y'all know I'm an introvert, so I like my time to myself. But also for that reason, I don't like being reliant on anybody else for my own livelihood. And I would hate to have a roommate where they stop paying or something like that, or they started spending their money kind of crazy and recklessly, and now they coming up short on the rent, and I'm having to help pay their portion of the rent and that kind of thing. So whoever your roommate is, you better, I ain't gonna say better, you should definitely make sure that they are a trusted person that you feel like not only you can live with, but you feel like they are going to be reliable and dependable and pay their rent on time without putting an extra burden on you. So yeah, just be mindful of that as well. And then Dee Dee says, I agree. I'm 20. Girl, you are young, which is not a bad thing. Excuse me, at all. So I don't know if you if you could still, if I could still live at home with my parents, I probably would have done that. Actually, I was living. Well, what's I? I know after I graduated from undergrad, I didn't immediately get accepted into optometry school. So I definitely was home with my parents then. By the time I graduated from optometry school, though, I was, married with kids and stuff. So it wasn't easy for me to go home. But there were portions of time where I did go back home during the time that I was in optometry school, because we had to do rotations and different things like that. So if you can save as much money as possible, if your parents are not opposed to you living there still, like if the living situation is agreeable versus you living on your own, I would definitely do that. And also make sure whatever job or position you have is secure, because when you sign that lease for the apartment, that thing is good for a year. They're not caring if you lost your job or whatever, and now you can't make the payments. So whatever job you have and whatever job your roommate has, you want to make sure it's pretty secure so that you can continuously be able to make payments, which is also why we suggested make sure you have 3 to 6 months of expenses for rent in case something does, God forbid, something happens. You just want to make sure you can still live comfortably and do the things that you need to do, especially if you lose your job or are trying to find another job. Yame says you can easily do some DIY if that's your thing and furnish your apartment as well. Yes, thanks, Yame. Excuse me. And then Dee Dee is just saying thank you so much. Still rocks. Y'all are crazy. Still Rock says roaches are a deal breaker for me too. I think it's a deal breaker for for a lot of us. Oh my gosh. Yes, make sure when you go to your apartment walkthroughs, look in the cabinets and look for roaches and those little mice droppings too, because homie don't play that at all. Make sure there aren't any cracks in the door frame. LOL. Y'all can tell we done been through some apartment trauma. These are the things you need to look out for. Oh gosh. And if you ever were on a college campus, Lord knows, you're gonna see some stuff there. And y'all may say, that's right, plan A, B, C, D, E, so on and so forth. Yeah, and I will say this. In regards to the lifestyle creep, in regards to just financial decisions or any type of decisions, I find I do best when I have a plan. Like when I have kind of planned things out. It's when you don't have a plan, or you just kind of spitballing it and just going off the top of your head or doing stuff. That is when you will experience stuff, and the stuff that you least expect can kind of take you by surprise and cause a harder hit to you, versus if you were actually prepared for it and kind of anticipating, or just put some thought into like, what would I do if this were to happen or whatever, versus what am I going to do? This all of a sudden happened. Okay. So just be mindful of that. So like y'all may was saying, have a plan A, B, C, D, and so on and so forth. Now, keep in mind, you're not going to be able to plan for everything, but it definitely helps you, to come against any challenges you may face, and it puts you in a different mindset for you to be able to kind of handle those situations. All right, Jay Watt, good to see you again. He says, or they just up and leave you high and dry. That happened to people in college living in apartments. Yes. And for you to be 21, Didi, nothing against anyone 21, but the mindset that 21-year-olds have, or like if your roommate is of a similar age, it's a little bit different after you've experienced stuff. So like now, if for some reason I had to have a roommate and we had to live together or whatever, I'm going to be more mindful and more conscious of what would happen if I was unable to pay my rent. Now, when I was in my 20s, 20, 21, 22 and stuff like that, I probably wouldn't give a whole lot as much thought to it. Like say I didn't like the roommate, I'd be like, you know what, I'm moving out. You on your own or whatever. So just kind of remember that the mindset is different when you are younger. And even if you are mature for your age, everybody is not always as mature as you would like them to be. Let's see what else. And then I'll get through, I'm going to look at these last comments and then we'll get through the other stuff. Cause y'all, Didi says, y'all, I'm ready to go. So you ready to move out of your parents' house. I understand what y'all are saying though. It's hard being in a relationship and living with a strict parents. Well, I don't know what I'm going to say about it. I don't know how strict is strict, but I shouldn't say what I'm about to say now. If your parent is strict, you just need to be a little bit sneakier than they are strict. That's the best advice I can give you, because I had strict parents too, but you just you just gotta finesse that situation. Yeah. Yes. I don't know. But I will say this, just tolerate it if you can. I know it's kind of hard and tough, and I don't know how long you've been in a relationship, and sometimes we be doing some risky and crazy stuff for people who you look back on it years later and you be like, I was doing some dumb ish for this person. Like I was and then it's like I should have just listened to my parents. But anyway, if they strict, no matter how, if they're strict, you got to be sneakier. Okay. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. Or just deal with living with them. Cynthia, good to see you. She says, hi, Rita and the Gold Digger fam. I'm so glad you could join, Cynthia. She says, what did I walk into? Rats and roaches. Oh my. We were just trying to help Didi find an apartment. But Didi, if that's the only reason you want to move is because your parents are strict, I don't know. And is your roommate going to be your person that you're in a relationship with? If so, that might not be the best thing. Because if y'all break up, something happened, that ain't gonna be the best look. I don't know if that's gonna be your roommate or not, but yeah, I don't know. Till he put a ring on it or put, some kind. I don't know. That might not be a good situation. And then Didi was laughing. I don't know what, because y'all was saying all kinds of crazy stuff. All right, she says, just a little print of blueprint. Y'all are cutting up. Oh, thank you, Cynthia. She says she liked and shared. Yeah, I always forget, y'all. If y'all are enjoying this, please feel free to like it, share it with someone who you think can benefit from it. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, please be sure to subscribe. And Yame says, no, not sneakier. Girl, you got to do what you got to do if you really want to. But anyway, let me get off that subject. Just be respectful of your parents and plan your move. Don't be spontaneous. Yeah. I'd rather ask for forgiveness than ask for permission. That is my philosophy. Like, oh mom, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And then Still Rock says, don't do it. Yeah. I don't think I honestly, now that I know, if it's just your parents being strict, I don't think that's a good enough. That's just me. I don't think it's a good enough reason. You tough it out. Get creative. See, this will challenge you to be creative, to find creative ways to be with the person that you love. Since y'all said don't be sneakier, be creative. Be creative. Find creative ways to be with the one you love. And Still Rock says, just wait. No, Didi. Okay, he said yes. He is going to be my. Okay, Didi, I don't know you. You don't know me other than from seeing me right now on the internet. That is not going to be a good look. That I don't know how long y'all been together, and even if y'all have been together, and even if y'all have been together a long time, and when I say a long time, like maybe a couple of years, you were still young when y'all got together. If y'all haven't been together a long time, I would say less than a year. I wouldn't say move in with him. No, I wouldn't. Because also too, unless you know this is your person, and when I say, and you're so young too, when I say this is your person, like your person who you might want to potentially marry and be with and stuff like that. And sometimes for us females, we have this fairy tale in our head or whatever. But if he hasn't shown signs of commitment, like, hey, he can see you with him possibly for life or whatever, I don't know, because you do learn a lot about people when you start living with them, and you might realize I don't like this person as much as I thought I did. Now that I can see them on an everyday basis, and there's not a whole lot of separation between us. And when I say separation, I mean like you don't get a break from them because they can't go to their home and you go to your home, and then y'all get together later. It's like literally they're in your face majority of the time or whatever. It's a little bit different. I would say wait, but I understand how you feel and why you would want to do that. Like I said, my parents were strict as well. I just got creative and found ways around the strictness. And that might be what you might have to do. And then as time goes on, you might find that, yeah, it was fun, but this person was here for a good time, but not necessarily a long time. Okay. Cynthia says, and Cynthia's an OG. She usually gives good advice. She says, be careful about moving from your family because life be lifing. Yes, it does. My 22-year-old son was whining about, whining about bills. I told him that is called adulting. So my advice would be to have money saved up. Yeah, you definitely want to have money saved up. And like I said before, don't rely on that. Don't rely on that person to you want to make sure wherever y'all move, you have enough to cover their costs as well. And with you moving in with somebody who you are in a relationship with, it puts you in a sticky position because you might be more lax and more willing to let somebody slide on, like not carrying their weight when it comes to bills or other things, just because you're so in love with this person or whatever. Like our thinking and our judgment is clouded when we are in love or when we're in lust, whichever. I'm not saying that's the case for you, but I'm just saying we don't always think clearly when that happens. Okay. So just be very, very careful. And also, if you are really serious about this and you feel like, hey, I got to get away from my parents, I want us to live together, challenge him. Like, hey, you want us to live together, you want us to be able to do more stuff together without my parents putting restrictions on us and stuff like that, then I need you to come up with this amount of money for us to be able to move out and move in together, and see where his commitment lies and everything too. All right. Still Rock says it's coming from a man, Dee. It sounds good. LOL. The dude is in his 20s too. Y'all gotta figure it out. Maybe live in a dorm, go to school an hour away or something. Yeah. Yeah. See, y'all talking about no, not sneakier. Like, how is what he's saying not being, there's ways around it. Like there's ways around it. That's all I'm trying to say. There are ways around it. You just got to get creative. She says, I'm in school already that's close to my house. See, so you're already saving money by going to school close to your house. Is the love worth you? Is the love worth you spending? I don't know what apartments go for in your area, but let's just say it's $1,000 a month. Is the love worth you spending $12,000 a year for it? Now you might say, yeah, it is, because you're in love. But is it worth it? Is it really worth it? Or can I just tough it out and be with my parents? And then Yame says, if he ain't trying to marry you, that ain't the move, sis. Yeah, I have to see some signs of commitment. I have to before I would be willing to shack up with somebody. Y'all know I need my space. All right. Cynthia says, have a nest egg and side hustles so you can be independent and not have to ask anyone for anything. Advice from a mother of 3 girls and 3 boys. Because, baby, you got to be able to count on yourself. For real. And here's the seriousness of it, too. You also don't want to put yourself in a situation where you are like dependent on someone or dependent on a man to provide for you. And this is no shade to any of the men or anything like that. But let's just say, something did happen, or you realize, hey, this is not somebody I want to be with or whatever. Or you realize, hey, I don't really like them as much as I thought I was. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're like, I can't really get out of it because I signed this lease and I don't have enough money to like break the lease or move out and be on my own. So you don't want to put yourself in a situation like that where you might feel kind of stuck because you've made this grown-up decision. All right, y'all, I didn't realize how long we were talking. Okay, I'm gonna Dee, thank you for your question. You got us riled up. So I'm gonna look over these and then I'm gonna quickly, so y'all aren't held up much longer, go over these last couple. So yeah, she says at Yaman, you already know he says he wants to marry me, but that's not a ring. That's yeah. Yeah. Like Beyonce say, if you like it, better put a ring on it. And see, and see if he takes the initiative too at finding a place, an apartment, and all this kind of stuff. Like, hopefully you're not doing all the work or whatever. Like, it should be both of y'all. Well, if he's really serious about this, it should be him trying to figure some stuff out too. Especially if he says he wants to marry you, he's going to have to take care of you, literally. Still Rock says, try to live on campus next semester. Try to tough it out a little while longer. Sit down with your parents. Let them know you love them, but you need more room to grow. Yeah, and I kind of get it. It's their house. If they're telling you, certain things, I don't know, can't be done or whatever. So, and then also Didi says, yes, I graduate this year. Yeah, so Didi, yeah, save up your money. I would say try and live with your parents as long as possible. Because like Cynthia said, life be life in. It ain't all what it's cracked up to be. You get the freedom, you get the choices, but then with those freedom and choices comes a lot of responsibility that you need to be able to back up. Yame says, what if you live with him and find out he's irresponsible? Exactly. That's what I said. And then she says, he got to move out. So Oh, you making him move out. I thought he had to move out. Okay. Or yeah, let him get the apartment and then maybe you can just come over. You know, what do your parents feel about that? You can say you staying with a girlfriend and really go to his house. I mean, just saying. Let him get the apartment. Still Rock says, well, congrats on your education. Make sure you put yourself first, even if y'all do move out. Until make sure you keep your goals top of mind. Just your time, young lady. Yeah, stay focused on you. Stay focused on you and the goals and stuff that you want to achieve. Trust me, you got plenty of time to be booed up with somebody. And congratulations too on graduating. Aditi, you said though that's talk. What is he doing though? I'm all for pure love, but I'm going to encourage doing it the right way. And then Still Rock says, Still Rocks, that is good advice. Yame says, living together should be decided when y'all are about to get married. And then Didi says, sorry, I can't comprehend your first comment. I'm not sure. No, this is not. New series, Big Sister Talks with Gold Digger. I don't know, because y'all talking some of the advice I'm giving. Y'all like, no. Yame was like, don't be sneaky. Yame says, Aditi, I said, you said it though. It's talk. What is he doing? Is he showing his commitment? Have y'all planned out any goals? So yeah, she was just basically saying, what has he shown? Like, how has he proven himself that he is ready and committed to this? Because it sound good. It sound good to have 24/7 access to the cookie. It sound good. I don't know if you're doing that. But I'm just saying, if y'all living together, I'm sure y'all aren't going to have separate beds. But it sounds good to have 24/7 access, but who knows? All right. It ain't all that. It might not be all that you think it's supposed to be. And she said, I wish I could go live with you and tell you more about it. Yeah, I don't want you putting your business out on these internet streets. You can always email me though. So I'll put my email in the comments. And she says, oh, yeah, he does show commitment and we have things planned out. We've been planning this since 2022. He buys me most of my things and is dependable. All right. For real, y'all. Okay. That is good. Here's the thing. Is he staying with his parents or is he staying on campus or something like that? Because just like I was talking about in the last video, when it came to like college and the expenses and stuff like that, when it came for me taking out my student loans, it is different when you don't have like real bills. When you don't have real bills, you have a whole lot more of disposable income. Because I remember those days. I was buying my friends' stuff. Like I had little godchildren and all this kind of stuff. I was buying them all kinds of stuff or whatever. It is different when you actually have bills and you like, man, I can't be buying y'all all this stuff like I used to because I got real bills that are due at this point in time. So right now he might be able, and that's good that he's able to buy most of your, and what are your things? Because you already said that you pretty, I won't say regular, I forget the actual term that you used or whatever. Like you don't really require a whole lot. It's pretty much what you said. So not saying it's not hard to compensate for that, but if you're not really the type of, if you're like me, like I don't really need a whole lot. I don't need a whole lot of frills and that kind of stuff. But how is that going to look when y'all actually have real bills and y'all up there talking about, did you pay the light bill? Because we sitting in the dark right now and he done went out and got your hair and nails done or whatever. And now y'all don't have no light money. It's a different situation, a different conversation. And then also those things can cause friction and strife in your relationship as well. And Cynthia says, Didi, based on some of, I think the things you're saying, seems like you already know in your heart of hearts what to do. My grandmother used to tell us to follow your first mind. Follow your first mind. Have a plan. And Yami says, Didi, I wish you the best. Just wait and see. I pray you two are the one for each other. Also, congratulations, love. And Dee Dee says, thank you. We got saved together 1 year ago, y'all. Now, Dee Dee, that's good. I'm proud of you for getting saved. But is this what Jesus would do? That's all I'm gonna say. Yummy says she said low maintenance, which is good, but right, what about bills? Yeah, it's a different type of thing once those bills start hitting. And she says, my things are my grocery, gas to get my hair done, laundry when I go to the laundromat, gym membership, and some things I want that's not a necessity. Yeah, and I will say, so, and that's what I mean, because it's like groceries for one person. Not trying to discount anything that you say, but it's not, it's not like real big bills, like versus like you having to make sure you pay rent. And also like your groceries and stuff like that, or your gas. It happens on a regular basis, but it's not like the first of the month this needs to come out. It's like, oh, we low on groceries, or I want to go get this, then we're going grocery shopping, or you know what, it's time for me to get my hair done because I want to go out or I want to look nice or whatever. So then he's spending to get your hair done or whatever. And even with like the laundry and stuff like that. But that rent, the utilities and stuff like that, those are things they coming out each and every month without fail. All right, Sunny Nicole, what's up, girl? Good to see you. And then Dee Dee says true. And then Cynthia says that it's great. Dee Dee sounds like has some of the same values. If he really loves you, he will wait for you. He will wait. Now, I've gotten through these. Let me get through the last few little things to avoid lifestyle creep. Y'all, I forgot where I left off. I know I said be intentional about what you're spending money on. Yeah, we talked about creating a budget or a spending plan. Hold yourself accountable. Also, the way to avoid lifestyle creep, I don't think I said this one, is to set a money goal. And I got to get back to doing that, like allocating what I want my money to go to, instead of just letting it be hanging out there. And that's when I start spending frivolously. Now, also with that, make sure you plan for some fun activities and indulgences, but set a limit. Like I was telling y'all, I do enjoy like pampering myself and stuff like that. But I realize that I need to set a budget for that, so that I know what I'm spending each month on it and not just doing it when I feel like doing it. And same thing when it comes to like I said, I'm trying to be outside. So same thing when it comes to like trips that we might be taking, or like events and concerts and stuff that we're going to. I need to start allocating, hey, I'm setting aside X amount of money for me to go to, this summer event or this concert or something like that. I just start setting some limits on what I'm doing. Sorry, y'all. All right. And then we already talked about this. Some lifestyle creep is expected if you are already living paycheck to paycheck. So if you're barely making ends meet and now you got an increase in your money, your lifestyle is going to creep up. But the last thing I'm going to share, I told you I was going to breeze through these, is another way to avoid lifestyle creep and be able to save money is to remember to be thankful and grateful for the things that you do have, and not always be focused on getting more and more and more and more and more. So that's what I need to start reminding myself of. Like, why are you wanting more of this stuff? Be grateful for the things that you have. Now, and that's not to say you shouldn't want more stuff. So, but there is a balance that you should have. I'm grateful for the things that I have. I'm grateful for the car that I have. I'm grateful for the home that I live in. I'm grateful for so many things. And when I want to buy other things, I need to remind myself, you're grateful. You have a closet full of clothes. So why are you wanting to buy more clothes? Is that not good enough for you or whatever? So that is what I will say to help you avoid lifestyle creep, and keep more money in your pocket, especially if you plan on being outside this summer like I do. All right, so I see there's some more comments coming in, so I'm going to do those, and then I am going to hop off. Y'all, I told you I wanted this to be like 30 minutes, 30 minutes, but I will say this. I love y'all so much. Thank y'all for engaging and keeping it entertaining. Dee Dee, thank you for your question. Hopefully, hopefully the answers have helped you, Dee Dee, and hopefully it will help someone else who's also watching it as well. Cynthia says, but make sure you are true to yourself and you live out your dreams first. Yeah, and Dee Dee, part of the lifestyle creep too, I will say this, because you're young, and I'm speaking from my own experience as well. When I was young and like your age, I felt there were certain things that I had to do, and I had to do them a certain way. And part of it is kind of like, and I went through the steps that you're doing. Like I went to school, I'm about to graduate. And then I thought the next necessary steps would be like, get married, have kids, get a house, that kind of thing. It's like I was checking the boxes, and I thought that is what I'm supposed to do. Now, that very well could be what you desire to do, and that's what you want to do. But make sure that is actually what you want to do, and not just what society has told you that you should do. Like you should, go to school, get a job, find a man, get married, have kids, get the house, get the car, all this kind of stuff. Like, is that really the progression that you want? Or is that just what you're following because that's what society told you to do or whatever? Because yeah, you might just be carrying out society's expectations of you, and that might not be your true expectations of yourself. Or you might be trying to please your parents and stuff like that, since you did say they were strict. And hey, getting married will help, since he's talked about getting married will help them get off my case about us spending so much time together or whatever like that. But is that truly what you want to do, especially with you being so young? Or do you want to live a little bit more, explore a little bit more before you actually settle down and commit to one person? Because you are still very young. Yami says, this was nice. We got tips about spending and gave tips on life experiences. Very nice. Yes, it was. I enjoyed this a whole lot. Dee Dee says, I appreciate y'all. I love getting advice from older women. Y'all are not old though. Thank you. Y'all, okay, well, I'm old, but y'all, I got carded today when I was at the restaurant. I was like, I will happily show you my ID since you think I'm under 21 or whatever, or I think it's 30 now, that they 30 or something like that. They'll say they'll still card you. I'm like, I will happily show you my ID since you think I'm so young. And Sunny Nicole says, right. Cynthia says, well, Dee Dee, baby, I'm 61 years old and lived through so much and experienced much. I don't mind sharing with you with young ladies. Yes. And like I said, Cynthia gives great advice. Great advice. And Yami says, Miss Cynthia, you're not old. You are seasoned. Yeah, she's seasoned with that life experience. And she said, Dee Dee says, I want to live a lot more and travel. Yeah, and you want to talk about, I'll say this and then I'm going to hop off. You want to talk about that with him as well? Because, like, does he also want to travel? Does he want to have a family? Because once you start having, not saying you can't travel once you start having kids, but it's just a different level of responsibility when there's other people in the picture. When you are only responsible for yourself, there is a certain freedom that comes with that. So I know right now you're still under like your parents' guidance and stuff like that. And it doesn't feel like you're free, or you don't feel like you have the freedom or whatever. But believe me, when it's only you that you are responsible for, there is a certain level of freedom that you have and that you can enjoy, excuse me. And then Cynthia says, thank you, Yami. You are so sweet. And Cynthia says, travel, GDC, and experience new things. Yes, especially if you have not really traveled or experienced or had a whole lot of experiences, just because you are young. And Yami says, you're welcome. Dee Dee says, y'all finna make me single and live my best life. Let me stop. I mean, if he really love you, he'll wait. Be like, baby, you know what? I just need to take like a few months to just go explore and find myself and see where we are and stuff. Can you wait for me for 3 months? He may wait. I mean, you never know. You never know. Or you might be like, baby, I was exploring for those 3 months, and I think it's best we go our separate ways. But anyway, Yami says travel together, Didi. You can't, I will say, living together and traveling with somebody, it will it will tell you a lot about a person. Honestly, it will tell you a lot about a person. So if y'all haven't done a whole lot of stuff together, out, like I said, I don't know how long y'all been together. Living together and traveling together will definitely expose some stuff. So I would probably say definitely travel, because that's a lot cheaper than living together, and it's a shorter term commitment. And Dee Dee says, that's crazy you said that we have a trip planned for next year. Well, that's good. See, he got you in the future, so that's good. Jay Watt's talking about this ain't it. You might find out. This ain't what I thought it was gonna be. But I'm gonna hop off because I've kept y'all on way too long. I will be back next week with a different topic. What, I don't know. Y'all can make some suggestions if you want to. Oh, and I told Dee Dee I was gonna put my email in the chat and I forgot. So let me do that real quick and then I'll jump off. And well, hold on. I'm just going to see what Cynthia says. Cynthia said, I knew my husband since middle school. We got married later and have 6 children, 14 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. See, Cynthia made it work. Cynthia made it work. So, like I said, he'll wait. All right. So, y'all take care. Enjoy the rest of your evening as well as the rest of your week. Bye, guys.